Greetings, family. Welcome to another page of Magnus Crystal's Pyramids. Our featured guests will be coming on at 7. I'd figured I would start with the invocation and the commercials. I want to thank everybody for joining us now and in the future. There's a lot of exciting things to share, but let's get with the commercials.
Peace, family. I wanted to show you some of these great quality t-shirts that were designed by the brother Shaka. The I Am t-shirts. I am a generator, an operator, and a destroyer. Great quality t-shirts, 100% cotton. If you like one of these t-shirts, reach out to the brother Shaka at N as in Nancy, F as in Frank, N as in Nancy, Shaka at gmail.com. That's NFN Shaka at gmail.com. Thank you. Have a beautiful day.
Here it is, family. The best soup in Brooklyn. Prepared meticulously, exclusively by the world famous Coconut Rob. Coconut Rob, what do you have in this delicious
what did I do?
conundrum? This awesome feast of nutritious delight. Tell us what you hooked it up with.
It's a combination of a couple of things, actually.
Couple looks like
Yeah.
a whole collage.
Nah, well, the actual base of it is the great nut and beans, great nut and white beans, and then we did it with a whole, as you would say, a conundrum of vegetables. All right, the malanga cocoa, which I like, of course, it's a root vegetable, but it's low in starch and rich in vitamin B2. So we use that and let that kind of come to a boil in the water, and then that thickens the broth. Wow. Then we use the barrow bananas, butternut squash noodles. Also, we use zucchini noodles, bell peppers, red bell peppers, green bell peppers, yellow bell peppers. And in this one in particular, we brought some both East African and West African seasonings. We used the East African seasoning called a shiro, which is usually used with like miso wet and lentils and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's added like a little bit of spice. And then we use the Ghanaian seasoning in there that's called shitsu, or shitu, actually. It's like a red bean.
Lord have
But
mercy.
this one is all vegan, of course. It's got a nice little spice to it.
Yeah, and
So-
those who are sensitive to salt, is there any salt in here?
Absolutely no salt. at
No
all.
salt.
We don't use any salt.
What days are you here? Coconut Rob?
Well, today I'm here Tuesday. Tomorrow I'll be here too, but the soup days are principally Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. But, of course, the public demands, I'm going to probably make a small one also tomorrow as well.
Excellent. And
look good?
yeah, man. What's the contact number?
Oh, 347-243-1678. And, of course, you know I'm here at Nicholas, Brooklyn.
1396 Fulton
1396
Street
Fulton
in
Street,
Brooklyn,
Brooklyn,
between
New
New
York.
York and Brooklyn Avenue. God
Absolutely.
bless the cook and the time it took.
The toppings are arugula, avocados, a mango chutney, a cucumber chutney, and culantro, or what they call shadow benny. Baby spinach and baby arugula.
Excellent.
Yes, I am Babalao Olowole Abiomi Fakunle Ade Tuto Yoronkulo de Manyansa. I am a spiritualist as well as a Babalao, and they call me the Babalao of Harlem. I've written a book, and the book is called Bliss, and it's the roadmap to absolute happiness. And it is available on Amazon, and especially this week, we are offering it for 99 cents, the Kindle version. So you have an opportunity to get the book for $19.99, as well as get a companion book for someone else for 99 cents. This is a wonderful offer. It's the road to absolute happiness. It's a pathway. Now, I can't say it's not easy. You have to do the work, but you can experience bliss, and bliss is the highest form of happiness. So come and join my revolution, bliss.
Family, I am here with a magical moment of young musicians. And this is Kim, Sister Kim, and she has a message about investing into the future musicians of our community. Sister Kim, tell us what you got here.
Hi everyone, Kim, proud parent of children at the Big Apple Leadership Academy for the Arts. We teach HBCU high stepping marching band to our kids from age 5 and up. It is a free after school program, tuitionless, and it's open to all. Our kids are amazing. If you can, jump on our website. We're looking for support, donations. Our kids need new instruments so that they can high step on. Our website is www.bola.org, BALAA.org. And I appreciate the time. Thank you. Thank you so much.
And so family, listen up close. We're talking about investing in the artists of tomorrow. By investing in them, if you have a little expendable change to invest in the youth, the genius, this is the opportunity. And in this description on this video will be the details of sending your donation to PayPal or Zelle or Cash App.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. So thank you for your support. Our children are the future.
Remember to subscribe, share, and like this video. And magnets, crystals, pyramids, and remember to journey to the bliss.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Only a sister can do that next stuff. Do that next stuff. Right, Bliss? You can do that next stuff. Yeah, we figured to start early so we could just get in the invocation and everything.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to Magnets, Crystals, and Pyramids, and Journey to Bliss. Like, subscribe, and share. Thank you, and Ashe.
I'm gonna do what you suggested. Have Baraka up in the trees doing the opening.
Calling out the warrior in you, the healer in you, the king, the queen in you, the trickster in you. Every single day we are called to walk in our purpose. Answer the call. Lay down your burden and anything that's holding you back and take your rightful place. The battle is everywhere and it's right in your face. Let's go.
Ashed up.
Welcome to Magnets, Crystals, and Pyramids. Success is your destiny. Yes. Love, wisdom, power. Remember always who you are. Yes. Yes.
Family, wherever you may be listening from, put it in the chat so we can have a global panoramic overview in our consciousness so that we can think beyond the square cubes of our monkey mind domiciles of existence and know there is a sphere of unlimited possibilities of like-minded frequencies who are also holding the torch of hope, inspiration, fortitude, and determination in the heart of our beings, our divine fire, our I am, that we step each day, each moment, higher and higher, deeper and deeper into the sea of unlimited possibilities. So I want to thank Miss Bliss for being on. Did you have any videos you wanted to do, Miss Bliss?
I thought you said you wanted me to send you the post. Do you want the post?
Yeah, send me a post.
Okay.
Send it because I was doing some experiments, y'all. Ooh, let me tell you, I was having some fun up in here. I'm making some Kinkaliba tea. This is a Star David magnetic arrangement with green tourmaline. Special acknowledgement to Kukau, who gifted me this citrine. I don't know what they call it, octahedron or something like that. You know, so I was just in here, like activating it and hitting it with the Tesla technology. And I hope everyone is doing good. It's good to be back. It's been some amazing times. Our brother Panic, he did his ascension. Then I had my aunt Baby, she did her ascension. And nobody gets off the planet alive, family. So get with it. Unfortunately, we've been coddled to the realities of life. The blanket has been thrown over our eyes. But right now, we're going through some kind of galactic activation. And I wouldn't, Bliss, I wouldn't want to be a psychic reader or an astrology reader right now to tell folks, y'all better buckle up because y'all might not make it out of 2024. I wouldn't want to be the one to do that. I think somebody who's it would take a lot of balls to tell folks, yo, it don't look good for y'all Negroes unless you get your shit together. 2024 is gonna whoop your ass. Maybe you can say it sweeter before I do the invocation, Miss Bliss.
It's so funny that you say that because 2023 was a very special year. We all know it was a number 7. It was a spiritual number. This is the year that you were supposed to level up. This is the year that you were supposed to handle your business. Hey, greetings, Diana.
Hello, beautiful.
How are you?
I am well.
Yeah. We're getting warmed up for you, Diana. Miss Bliss is going to tell it like it is. No holds barred. Go ahead, Bliss.
This is the year that a lot of us were supposed to level up on the spiritual level, which means that we were supposed to be doing the work. And we find that if you were not doing the work, that, you were distracted or you were, doing other stuff, then, it could cause some problems in your life in the future. So this was a great year to really start learning about alchemy, meditation, health, like what's good for you to drink and to eat, and yoga. Like this was the year to level up. And if you were already on that level doing those things, then you should be going to the next level and skyrocketing. So 2024, we all know is the number 8. And I'm going to let Lloyd Strahan come on next month and tell y'all about the number 8. And when it comes to metaphysics, I'm going to let Phil Valentine handle that. But I'm going to tell y'all, next year is Year of the Dragon. And what does the dragon represent? Fire and smoke. So Diana Pharr can do a little bit of astrology and tell y'all what planet is coming up there and is we going to be dealing with, because I already know what planet it is.
Are we live?
We're live. We're doing the opening first. This is the opening. We're not bringing you. Diane, we just relax. Just we just winding it up. Go ahead, Bliss.
Yeah, but she could tell you what
Yes.
is going to be moving, what planet is going to be moving into what sign next year that's going to cause hell and chaos and mayhem. If you are not prepared, if you have not done the work, if you've been on your BS, and y'all know who y'all are, because some of us know who y'all are too. So if you ain't been doing the work, you ain't been doing the right thing. Y'all know what y'all doing out there. We ain't
Y'all
gonna
ain't
say
been
too
drinking your Kinkaliba tea
and Gayuska tea.
and getting clogged up with high blood pressure and glaucoma and diabetes. Look, we ain't gonna play.
Well, it's the holidays, so you know what they're gonna do in the holidays.
Listen, we got to pray and walk on water coming up 2024, y'all. So I was just saying, Diana, it's going to take excuse the expression, all due respect, it's going to take a lot of balls for anybody doing forecasts for this year coming, because I wouldn't want to be the astrologer to say, I only got one thing to say for you. It's like that. You could pray your way through it. You can pray your way through it, family. This is when you're definitely going to need your crystals on, your Oregon on, your prayer sticks, your water by your bed. And this is a time. I'm going to say I'm going to take the high road and say, family, this is going to be a year of prayer and work and prayer, meditation, listening to our hearts and our I am. This is going to be the year of, you can walk on water if you pray. If you live right, heaven belongs to you. If you pray right, heaven belongs to you. Oh, heaven belongs. Y'all remember that song?
I
Some of
don't.
y'all young folks don't know that song. I'm gonna
I
pull
don't
that.
know it, but it sounds good.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull that up on
Yeah.
Firefox. Let me see. Oh, wait a second. Am I on? I don't know if I'm streaming on. I don't know where I'm streaming from. Let me see. If Chrome, I'm on Chrome. Okay.
I was gonna say explore it. Oh, okay, Chrome.
I'm going to family. I'm going to take the gumption to pull up on YouTube this song so you can hear it. Because this is what you're going to have to remember before we bring on Diana. Heaven belongs. Yeah, here it is right here. And this was done by Quincy Jones. All right. I want y'all to hear this. All right. Let me just hold on. Let me just pull it up in here. Google Chrome, present, share screen. All right. Window. Family. This is going to be a year that we're going to have to pray through this. Listen close. Y'all heard it. If you pray right. Heaven. That's it, family. That's
Wait a
it.
minute, that's from the Color Purple movie?
Yes.
Of all
Quincy
movies
Jones
to be
scored
pulling
the
that
music.
song up from?
Huh?
That was a heavy movie. Like of all movies, he pulling that song up.
If you live right, heaven. Got the message from the music. I don't know about the rest of the script. And there's another one that brings out the old Baptist minister in me. Let me pull that one up. Man.
Yeah, because
There's
if
another
y'all
one.
been spending y'all energy and putting it in the wrong place or the wrong person in the wrong direction, then you are misusing your energy, your time, and your essence, and you will never reach bliss.
Yeah.
So you want to focus on yourself with your own healing, because you need to be
Testify,
prepared.
sis. We're going to have a little church tonight, y'all. All right. Here it comes, y'all. Listen to this. All right. Because you may feel the spirit moving in the middle of the night. Yeah, family. Kundalini activation. They're calling. You may say, "Oh, is this the rapture? Why my body moving like that?" You're awakening. And don't fight the feeling. Get those forgiveness calls out.
Those apology calls.
You better start forgiving yourself.
Exactly.
And this is real talk. In case your mama didn't tell you.
Learning to let go the pain and the hurt and the trauma.
Yes.
And all the drama and be at peace.
Yes. Yes. You're going to feel it, family. Special acknowledgement to Chioma. She brought the attention to me today. The sun is radiating energy to activate our 1224 strand DNA. And you can say Allah, Jesus, Yahweh, Olodumare, but that sun activation is going to inebriate you. So you better get right with yourself. Playtime is over. It's now prayer time and meditation time. Amen, amen, amen. All right, that's my little
hallelujah.
That's my little Baptist minister up inside. Had to say it. Had to testify. Yep. Okay, so with that being said, let's move into our invocation, and then we'll give the floor to Diana Pharr. Oh, I like what you said, King Adonis. Develop a relationship with the sun in our hearts. Yeah, man. Yeah, I ain't doing root work. That's sun work. Yeah, with the sun roots. Ooh, sun roots. I like that. So I am in me. I am in Diana. I am in Miss Bliss. I am in all your family. I am in you, the listening audience now and in the future. We individually and collectively salute you, embrace you, and thank you. Thank you for being born. Thank you for being alive. Thank you for surviving and not lingering on thoughts that is less than your divine. We ask that we collectively put our attention into the millions of previous incarnations in order to forgive all ignorant, I'm using that acoustical mannerism intentionally, all ignorant souls from our past lives. And we ask all souls from our past lives to please forgive our ignorance. Because, sometimes we act ignorant, And most of all, may we forgive ourselves in the ignorance that we have lived. And as we peel the heel of our consciousness into the here and now and future, endless future timeline possibilities, we say together while we hold our prayer sticks, our crystals, our water, our sacred herbs. Yes, I am forgiving all future possibilities and all future experiences. Yes, I am. And yes, I am forgiving in this life all ignorant souls who hasn't blossomed into their blue lotus petals. And I ask all souls in this life, please forgive me if I've been rhythmatically ignorant. And most of all, I forgive myself. And with that, we say, before we invoke higher, aho, ashe, as we invite and thankfully ignite the presence of our ascended master ancestors, Saint Germain, gatekeeper of Northern California, Mount Shasta, entrance into the hollow earth. We thank you and invite you to be on the platform with Miss Diana Pharr and her featured guest, Queen Afua. We ask the latest Christ born in the Congo. We thank you and invite you to be on the platform tonight. Rest your hands on our shoulders and guide our spoken words. We thank and invite Ascended Master Sheikh Amadou Bamba, founder of the city of Touba in Senegal, Sheikh Ibra Fall. We thank you and invite you that we have a personal experience with you while we dream or while we meditate or while we do vision quests. May you align and be our guides into the celestial realities within our beings so that we may be safe in our souls and our psyche for future possible dreams. And may we fulfill the most important purpose of our life, and that is what we were born to do. May we have the correct magic around us and people supporting us and supporting you. We invite Black Madonna, Mother Mary, Yahshua, Melchizedek, Enoch the Ethiopian who went into the heavens and became Metatron. We thank and invite Angel of Protection, Archangel Michael, to be here with us, Michael. We invite Angel of Strength, Archangel Gabriel, Angel of Knowledge and Enlightenment, Archangel Uriel. We invite Goddess of Love, known by many names, to eloquently dance through the spoken words of our sisters tonight, to elevate brothers and sisters into manifesting their born mission dreams. We acknowledge and we thank the forces of nature within us. Ilegba Oshun, Yemaya Olokun, Oya Shango Ogun, Obatala Ochosi. We thank you. We invite Buddha, Lady Buddha, Kuan Yin, Goddess of Mercy, Lakshmi, Imhotep, Ptahotep, Akhenaten. We invite Tahuti, also known as Thoth, Ratah, Sheshat, and we invite Marcus Mosiah Garvey, El Hajj Malik El Shabazz, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, Elijah Muhammad, Harriet Tubman, Nat Turner, John Brown, Chief Osceola, Chief Crazy Horse, Chief Sitting Bull, Chief Geronimo. We invite Shroom Masters, Dr. George Washington Carver, Booker T. Washington. We invite Dr. Sabi. We invite Dr. Klindi Aye to be with us. We invite all those shaman, warrior, medicine women, Credo Mutwa, South African Zulu shaman to be with us. We invite into this platform all our ancestors who serve heaven's rhythm and assisting us on the wooden stage of life. And we say together, Ashe, Mahalo, Donada, Wado, Amen, Amen. So let it be spoken, so let it be done. Yeah. Before we give you the mic, Diana, I just want to share with the family. Look, family, I've been in the lab zone. I'm gonna tell you now, I've been in the lab, and we're in the season. Remember to drink your Kinkaliba tea. Did you have your tea tonight?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all got your tea?
I have mine.
You got yours? Okay.
Mhm.
Here it is, family. This is Kinkaliba tea, liver detox, digestive aid, lowers blood pressure, anti-cancer, gallbladder detox, opiate detox, anti-inflammatory, anti-diabetic, weight loss. This is what we need in the times that we're going into. All right. This helps with womb healing, clearer skin, insomnia. You could drink this before you go to sleep at night. And Bliss 2, she also has available, if you want to get it from Miss Bliss, the herbal tea, you can do that. And we give acknowledgement to Sheikh Amadou Bamba, who reasserted the name of the tea's mystic call, Siha, 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 to invoke the spirit of healing from the tea to assist you in feeling better. Because it's better to drink tea and no food than food and no tea. Can we get
Mhm.
an ashe?
Ashe.
Okay. All right. Welcome, Diana.
Welcome.
Good evening.
Ooh, that voice is so nice. Let's give me somebody give me some background music and hand that mic to Diana. We're gonna have either you come with some poetry, or some songs, Diana. I'm gonna say that good evening one more time. Let me pull you full screen.
Good evening. I am very happy to be here. I'm
Yeah,
very
we happy you here, Diana. We only let you see yourself momentarily, just your reflection.
yeah.
Lovely, lovely, absolutely lovely. Oh, what you got cooking for us tonight, Diana?
Well,
I'm going to go check on my tea because I don't want to mess up the kitchen. I'll be right back.
we'll be here. Good evening, everyone. Um, Miss Bliss, I hope that you engage me this evening because we're talking about relationship. And you have a talent for asking the right questions. Your when you ask a question, I sometimes get the sense that what you're verbalizing is on the minds of the listening audience and you bring it to bear. So, Queen will be joining us close to 8. She's doing a seminar this evening.
Okay.
She's teaching. She's just back from Jamaica. She travels a great deal. But the topic for this month is the alchemy of relationship, the energy of relationship. And I'm going to give some definitions of what that means from the perspective of alchemy. And people that are listening that are unfamiliar with my work, alchemy has been the focus of my study and research for many decades. And my training is yoga. So that's the place that that's the place that I'm speaking from. And so I'm going to give some definitions, and they're energy based because alchemy concerns itself with the energy of things. It is the great grandparent of modern day chemistry. So then I'm going to offer some resources because I'm opening up a perspective that is uncommon, I think. Even in the environment of that which is uncommon, this is uncommon. We don't generally talk about relationship from the point of view of physiology. And I'll be giving some resources, some reading material. And of course, people can, as always, they can contact me and I will share with them the basic practice document that gives people some tools to work with. And then when Queen arrives, she'll be talking about breath, which
Okay.
is very, very, very um, connected to relationships. So, what is relationship? From from the perspective of alchemy, relationship is chemical interactions that occurs in the chemicals that are messengers in our bodies, hormones. That's what's happening. And that's a part of the everyday narrative. We speak in terms of having chemistry with someone or whether or not that person resonates with us, or if we connect with them or we do not. So that's very, very literal. When we interact with another human being, a physiological shift occurs between those two people. And it's not just between the two people. We're constantly in chemical interaction with the environment, with governments that we may feel like we do not have a voice in, how we interact with the culture that we work in, where we were educated, because this relationship interaction actually occurs very young in life. That things that have been normalized, that children spend a great deal of time amongst strangers very young, and how this impacts how we experience ourselves in relationship first to ourselves and to reality. And that's an accepted norm. But we know that cultures and societies where children grow up, particularly young children, around people who know them and love them and care about them, do not display the types of emotional maladies that our society does, that Western society does. We know this. The research has told us this. And so I'm not going to get too specific on the physiology, but I want to center on our nervous systems. That there's a part of our brain called the amygdala that gives directions to our involuntary nervous system, our autonomic nervous system, that part of us that acts through its own intelligence. That right now you're not telling your heart to beat, you're not telling the many functions in your body to occur. They are occurring autonomically, involuntarily. So that system has two aspects of it. One is called sympathetic, which is fight, flight, or freeze, which is our interaction, which is one way we relate to the environment. And the other is our parasympathetic nervous system, which is calm and restoration. We live in a society that people are stuck, they're frozen in fight, flight, or freeze, that we interact with everyday life in a way that tells our bodies that there's imminent danger. Even within the context of a conversation, if we're talking or interacting with someone that has a difference of opinion, the reaction on the body level can be very strong. And this is a chemical reaction. What happens is that the adrenals release cortisol, a stress hormone, and major stress hormone that floods the blood, and it affects cognitive function. So if we're interacting on a relationship level and we're communicating in such a way that we're stimulating stress in a culture and society that is already very stressful, this impacts how we interact with others to a very large degree. So I'm going to give I want to talk about magic for a moment, and then the breath, and talk about some very simple things that people can do that are helpful. And then I'm going to talk about ascension and sacred secretion. It's called various things, which are practices from all over the world. It's in Christianity, it's in science, um, it's in all of the Abrahamic faiths. They have systems, practices for how human beings can obtain a deeper connection with life, so that they are able to interact more from a place that is their own being. And that's where I want to give some book recommendations. I'm going to give some titles. One from a scientific perspective, and the other one that is allegorical. That has how this is how this is discussed in Christian references to that, because people, the information is all over the place. It's hidden in plain sight because it's been reinterpreted by the science, by the society in which we live, and to a large degree also misrepresented. So these materials give people some deeper insight into how they can begin to have a healthier relationship with themselves. So what I've said is relationship is chemical interactions. That's what they are. It's the energy. Whatever we're thinking the relationship is, the reality of the relationship is chemical, because it's our chemical state that drives our thoughts. You know, our chemical messages, our hormones are affected by how we interact with the world, and the hormones tell everything else in our body what to do in the simplest of terms. So if we're communicating, even if we're communicating something that's meaningful and right, but we're doing it in the same way that we're triggering a stress response in who we are talking to, that of course is going to affect outcomes. So magic. My work is restoring the magic of what it is to be a human being. And for a long time, I didn't want to use that word because of what it has come to mean, which is basically not what it meant to our ancestors, not what it meant in antiquity. And magic is another type of relationship. It has to do with our relationship with reality. There are parts of ourselves that are profoundly magical. That we live in a society that we're constantly in a state of repression. We repress our dream state. We repress synchronicities, and all synchronicities is the underlying math that life is based upon shows up in life as what's called coincidences. It's not coincidences. It's the externalization of the underlying order in nature that shows up in our life as the song that Rising Sun played. When you're living in alignment with nature, life becomes magical. Alchemy is not talking about magic as something that you do. Magic is our state. And the scientists, the great minds, the Teslas and the Einsteins and the Niels Bohr, who received the Nobel Prize in the 1930s for his work in quantum physics, because there was a whole team of brilliant people that after they got past the molecule down deep in nature, what they found was space. And Neil said, that which we consider reality at its core is made of nothing. It comes out of space. How does that occur? Einstein talked about epiphany in terms of it being the mystical, in terms of how we're thinking. How are we thinking in this moment? Where is the home of consciousness? These are all very common experiences. Synchronicity. We do know in allopathic medicine that the enteric nervous system, that our intuition is intertwined, literally connected to nature, and that it's an intelligence, and it's an accurate intelligence. I mean, they train Navy SEALs in developing their intuitive intelligence. But these are aspects of ourself that, because they're not commonplace, they've been allocated to the aside, and this very strongly affects our relationship with ourselves and our relationship with life in general. It has us very off-centered, that this huge aspect of our reality is is ignored and repressed,
Mhm.
and that within itself is a disconnect. Is a disconnect. So magic, synchronicity, how we experience life, the seamlessness of life, when we're true to ourselves, when we're connected to ourselves, is what the ancients were what they meant when they talked about magic. That's what Lao Tzu meant. That's what Yeshua meant when he said, "Seek first the kingdom, and all else follows."
Mhm.
How reality is naturally, the connectivity we see when we see the activity in nature, the math in nature representing itself over and over again, because this interconnectedness, the unity behind nature, what science calls the unified field, expresses itself in the most eloquent ways that are natural. But we are very separated from that. So the third thing, breath. Why I wanted Queen to come on and talk about breath, and there are a lot of things that we do in Alchemy Group to cultivate and restore our relationship, our connection to ourselves, our connection to reality. But breath is the first movement of basic practice, which is the translation of principles from many systems into 7 movements that are very simple, that people do anyway: breathing, space, how we make our choices, which is very important because our choices create our futures, and we don't make our choices in alignment with nature. But breath, the third thing that I wanted to offer to the listener is that breath is so important because breath changes our chemistry. Breath is a tool by which we can learn to regulate our emotions. We can learn to manage the stress that keeps us in
Mhm.
our sympathetic nervous system, that keeps us in fight, flight, or freeze. And most people, psychology talks about it in terms of being functional freeze. Functional freeze is when you find people that are on the same emotional note all the time. They're able to go to work, they're able to function, they're able to pay their bills, but they're in an emotional posture.
Mhm.
Um, all the time. They may need to be right or feel that they're right all the time. And
Mhm.
this is part of the sympathetic nervous system. The need to be right may be expressed in very extreme and aggressive ways. We all know people
Mhm.
that the idea of entertaining an idea that's different than their own is 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 something that's very difficult for them to tolerate. That's freeze response. That's someone that's stuck in their sympathetic nervous system. And what's wonderful now about breath is that it is one of the bridges between um, ancient healing practices and modern healing practices. There's a MD, I have his name written down. I didn't want to mispronounce it. He's out of Harvard, and his research is in consciousness.
Mhm.
And and he's not alone. There are many research labs, not just all over the country, but all over the world, that are building bridges. And this didn't just begin. I mean, it's like, what is it? Oppenheimer was a student of the Vedas.
Mhm.
It's just that it wasn't something that was comfortably discussed. And what you were saying in the beginning, it's very true that this is a time. If anyone is paying attention,
Mhm.
if we don't realize that this is a time that we need to open our hearts and our minds. If that realization has not occurred to you, then you haven't been paying attention. You know, it's you know, Rising Sun played a song for from the Colored Purple. My favorite song from the Colored Purple is Maybe God's Trying to Tell You Something. Walking down the road,
Yes.
speak, Lord, speak to me.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So it is indeed such a time. So back to breath. Breath is Dr. Andrew Weil, that people may be familiar with his work. He states that if there was one thing that I could encourage people to do to impact their well-being, it would be to learn to breathe properly. Because every cell of our body, for the food we eat to metabolize into energy, for us to have homeostasis, balance, so that the organs can speak together in a way, because the cells in our body are in communication with each other. Or for that to be done effectively is contingent upon our cells getting proper oxygen supply. We can live a certain amount of time without food, a certain amount of time without water, but we can live a very short period of time without the breath. If you cut that off, then the brain cannot live, live. So to learn to breathe, there's a very simple breath technique, and Weil teaches it. Many practitioners from various disciplines teach. It's 4-7-8. People could go online and find that. There are many people demonstrating. It's simply inhaling to 4 breaths, holding for 7, and then exhaling longer. The exhalation is longer for 6 to release. This has a phenomenal effect on learning to regulate the nervous system, the central nervous system, to begin to regulate and manage our emotions, because what we're doing as a society in general is, when we have a life event that's stressful, we haven't been socialized to process it, to reflect it. We've been socialized to externalize getting back into a place where we feel okay. So that means eating, that means alcohol, that means emotionally venting, even if we're doing it with ourselves.
Right.
That we'll ruminate within our own being to get into a place where we feel okay. But we weren't designed to do this. We're designed that our default place isn't this mental activity, this monkey mind, this inner chatter. Is an epidemic of mental health that we're having. We're having an epidemic of mental health and well-being. Most people, and I don't know if it's the case in other countries. I don't even know. But here in the United, there is an epidemic of people that are frozen, stress response. And those that flight are those of us that have simply not been able to develop the skill to learn from our life experiences. We have flight. And fight, those are people that become very defensive.
Yes.
And they're in the posture of being defensive. And it's a very interesting dynamic fight, because someone that's frozen in fight, you can say good morning and their response can be, well, yeah, but it's gonna snow this afternoon. And it's like, yeah, but it's nice tomorrow. But the day after that, because what we've been doing, we've been looking at this in terms of character flaw. Those of us that are in relationships with ourselves or others that are that stuck in a particular modality.
Yeah.
It happens when something's not processed. We'll get on that the central nervous system gets on that emotional note.
Right.
and it experiences reality because it needs to balance that out. And until that occurs, we'll continue to go back to that that note, which reinforces how we're literally wired, how the brain is wired. The synapses in the brain gets wired to that.
Right.
And it becomes our norm. And we've come to accept these behaviors in ourselves and in others as the norm because it's in epidemic proportion.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then those of us, there's a lot that other societies know about consciousness
Yes.
that we do not. And people who experience reality in different ways, people that are visionary, people that are creative, even people that we use a lot of their vision, like Tesla, in our everyday culture, we don't embrace these people as a society. We have a very, very narrow framework that we call norm, and it's becoming more narrow.
Yeah.
And
I wanted to say for clarity, a lot of people, they visualize when you say fight, flight, freeze, they think it's a physical body thing, and that could be so, but I want you guys to understand and understand that this is also a mental, psychological way that a person.
This is why this is what I mean. You always bring out what I need to underline, because exactly, fight, flight, and freeze sounds literal.
Right.
But flight is not literal, it's avoidance. It means that if you're making an error, if you're living in a particular way that is not working for you, that you're ill-equipped to course direct, you divert your attention away from it. That's the flight. You fly with your attention. Fight is just being on the defensive.
Exactly.
It's not necessarily like this, but it's that you're on the defensive, which makes it very, very difficult for you to connect and interact and relate to others. Freeze is when you're immobilized. Freeze, people that are frozen in functional freeze, they're experiencing the same type of thing over and over again because they're unable to move beyond it. They're on, as I say, one emotional note, and they're unable to move beyond it. So they're stuck, even though they're able to function. The ability to grow, to facilitate growth and development, because these are things that our society in general does not give us the skills to do, but we're doing better. We're doing better. There are so many people that are doing phenomenal work. So now I want to get, I want to talk about, I had a book I wanted to share. I wanted to talk about ancient systems, many systems for managing these experiences. How do we get back to the connection of who we are? How do we do that? There are many, many ways to do that. Body work, energy work, yoga, Ayurvedic medicine, acupuncture. There are so many systems that have a very, very different approach to healing and well-being. And I include allopathic medicine in that. I had chronic illness in my 50s, and I was on very serious medications for a while, but I worked with a very good, and he was a GI specialist, but I also did things in conjunction. And one of the things that we will be, that is happening, and we'll see more and more, is more interdiscipline connection and dots, because many people really need to access many different disciplines. There are things that, like the allopaths, they don't do nutrition well. You don't want to pick up a prescription pad before you've really looked at the person's body chemistry, and if there's dietary, you can get off sugar. and processed food, and eat whole foods, whatever that is, just that, in terms of how the body's own healing mechanism can take place before we, particularly for things that are in epidemic proportions like diabetes. Everybody is in risk of type 2 diabetes, which is very manageable from a dietary point of view. High blood pressure, these are things that respond strongly to lifestyle change.
Yes, exactly.
Back to the ancient systems. Our nervous system, our central nervous system, which is the brain and the spine, is considered to be the physical or miniature microcosmic version of the universe. That's what that is. The In some systems, it's called the tree of life. The chakra system is a system that down the spine you have energy systems. In the body, it's the endocrine system. So many ancient cultures had methods to cultivate and restore well-being through those systems. One of them, one system is described as sacred secretion, and that system, it relates to a process that we go through, that the pineal and pituitary gland release secretions into the fluid that the brain floats in, and that travels down the spine. Now, what happens when it reaches the lower spine is that a physiological occurrence happens, that when that fluid circulates back upward, affects our level of awareness. It affects our understanding of who we are. I work with a wonderful woman, Cheryl Smith, and what we do in group is the work of circulating that energy. But when people come up on a space that they can't move beyond, when they literally in their bodies get to that space where energy is not moving. And again, things like healing systems like acupuncture and Ayurveda, they can diagnose energy is not moving here. That's something that's a place where medical doctors can work very well with those. And Chinese medicine is 5,000 years old as compared to Western medicine. So we can say that they may know something about the body.
Right.
It's in that space that the body creates, that there's a problem, that there's a blockage, mind, body, spirit, where it's not moving in the body. It's not moving in the body. So it is also not moving in that aspect of life, because that is the ancient view of life, that the inner environment is expressed in the world. That everything is connected.
Yes.
So that's really the takeaway in terms of the alchemy of relationship, that our relationships are reflections of our connection to ourselves, our connection to reality, and that when we begin to learn how to use the breath, that simple thing, sacred secretion, that's an evolutionary process. When you're working on cultivating the magic of your humanity, that you want to align yourself with nature in such a way that you're able to be yourself for a living. You can be authentically who you are. And your experience of life and reality from that place. I'm checking the time for Queen should be arriving around a little after 8. I know her workshop concludes at
Around,
at
right?
8, so she should be
Okay.
shortly.
I was gonna say, in regards to the breathing, we are like, I'm doing like a special training with breathing exercises, and I was outside one day and I'm doing the exercise and a bee comes around me. And normally people are fanning away the bees and they're running from the bees. And something just told me to just sit there. And it crawled up my hand, up my sleeve. It didn't bother me and I wasn't afraid of it. And it didn't seem to be afraid of me. And I continued my breathing exercises. I realized like something was happening. So the next week I said, okay, I'm going to do it again. And I went back to the same spot and I did it. I was there longer and 2 bees came around me. They were crawling up my legs, up my skirt. And I realized I was changing my whole energy, my whole vibration, and I was becoming connected to
Yes.
to them, somehow connected. And then I learned from the studies that we can walk into a room at a meeting with people and we can change the whole energy of the
Yes.
room. That's how powerful we can be.
Yes. Yes. And that I'm glad you said that, because our goal in all relationships, whether it's a meeting or with other, should be oneness, should be to connect, should to be present so that we could discover the moment that we're having with that person. What our tendency is to project our thoughts, the direction that we would like the meeting to go into, onto that reality. And that in itself is divisive because there's another intelligence here beyond thought and emotion, that if we allow that to happen, if we allow space for creative interaction in how we communicate with others, because we're either triggering stress hormones that go into the blood that affect cognitive function, or we're creating oxytocin. Oxytocin is oxytocin is the hormone of connectivity. When we connect with someone, even with ourselves, it happens through touch. It happens through hugging. People that live with someone that they love and care about, um, we should touch. We should touch. Touch has a particular chemical effect. Cortisol, people that are very stressed, they they need to have something that they're doing in their daily activity that allows them to perspire. We can sweat out cortisol. We can sweat out. You want to process the experience and get it out of the body so that it can function normally. I mean, adrenaline has its function. It has a healthy function. It gives us the energy to do. But when it's in an extreme state, but there's a parenting technique called connection before correction. And you triggered the thought of that when you said, when we go into a meeting, because that when we approach relationship, when we approach meeting from the perspective of creativity, that there's an intelligence here, that I can creatively interact with this person, and something life affirming can come out of that interaction.
Yes.
That requires that we cultivate the skills. It's like I use the acronym DAB. The first detachment. Detachment is to learn not to internalize and be in the reactionary state, to be able to maintain a state of calm when you interact with others. acceptance, that you respond to life based on what it is. This society teaches us to interact with life from a place of judging it and seeking to change it into something else. And this society definitely needs transformation.
Mhm.
But transformation is born out of first identifying what actually is. A lot of energy is ruminating over judgment and critiquing. We spend a tremendous amount of energy on that as a culture.
Yeah.
Critiquing, judging, what, much more so than being solution orientated.
Mm,
You
that
know,
part.
much and we approach, so relationship so it's very easy to internalize that and to bring that into our relationships with others.
Mhm.
So acceptance is the A, and then B is boundaries, but it's not boundaries in the way that you're cutting off people. It's boundaries in the way that you maintain who you are in the presence of your interactions and your relationships with the environment. That many of us have lost our sense of who we are. What does it, the Sanskrit word for that is Svadhisthana, the place of
Mhm.
my own dwelling in it. And it literally, in martial arts, it's the lower chin, it's the gut. It's that place that grounds you right below
Mhm.
your navel, that affects how your body language, how you move.
Yeah, no sense of self.
And it's not something that we need to self-blame or blame others for, because we've been socialized this way.
Mhm.
We started school, very young, and within the school system during a time where we needed activity for our brain to develop, we're actually being asked to cooperate with an environment that's not in alignment with human development. So this is something that, rather than pointing, that we can all say that this is something that we share,
Right.
you
Right.
know, and that we can begin to exercise and cultivate things like understanding. Understanding is a very, very powerful tool. Understanding, to replace judgment with that. It doesn't
Mhm.
tolerate bad behavior. What understanding does from a yoga point of view, understanding connects you to that intelligence beyond emotion and thought,
Mhm.
where you don't have to be in the reactionary state, because our triggers have more to do with our energetic history than
Mm.
than what's going on externally. So, and through the breath, like you said with the B, through the breath changes the biochemistry. Breath changes your experience of reality. You are literally changing stations. I want to because I didn't want to trust my senior memory. I wanted to make some book recommendations, and I wrote them down.
All right,
But
y'all get your pen and paper and get ready to write some books down in here.
the medical doctor out of Harvard, his name is Mauro, Mauro, Sapatera, MD. He writes, I haven't read any of his material. I've looked a lot of his stuff. He's on YouTube. He has his own channel. His work is with, his research is with the cerebral spinal fluid. So for people who want a scientific approach, also the title for that is The Science of the Sacral Secretion, which breaks it down from a physiological point of view. Those of you that, when you think in terms of transcending emotion and thought, that that your orientation, that you were raised in one of the Abrahamic faiths. But this is really, this book really tends more towards Christian thought than Judaism or Islam. But the Bible speaks in allegorically or symbolically about the sacred geometry. Not the sacred geometry, the sacred secretion. And that title is God Man, the Word Made Flesh. And the author of that is Carrie. And the last one is The God Design by an author named Kerr. She breaks down the process of sacred secretion. And one of the chapters of that book is literally titled Sacred Secretion. That is a highly esoteric practice that's involved with when the moon is in your sun sign. That is when that secretion happens. There are dietary recommendations that you do in preparation when it's an astrological correlation in your body, and you do certain meditation practices or yoga practices to raise the energy of the sacred secretion beyond the lower energy up into the heart. And once it's in the heart, it expands into consciousness. So that's a very, very esoteric practice. In terms of the group, what we do in Alchemy Group is we do a form of what the general public would describe as reading, which has become bastardized into forecasting. And it's not that forecasting does not occur, because we know that to some degree, life is deterministic. We know, in the scientific community, there are, there's a portion of the scientific community that their stance is that life is deterministic. Everything that we do was started with the Big Bang, which is now a hypothesis. But and then there's a school of thought that we have free will. The alchemical perspective is that both are correct. But we know we can in the lab determine what someone is going to do. Even our experience of reality is not what we think it is. Our 5 cardinal senses are experiencing reality at different times. The brain gives us a synthesized perception of it, but that's not what's actually occurring. Right. So why did I mention that? Well, I went off in another direction. But I was talking about in terms of group, that what we do is we look at where you are in relationship to reality. Where are you in relationship to reality, and how should you move through reality to get back to yourself? I don't do sacred secretion. What I do is ascension. Ascension is literally, how do you bring that energy back up the spine into the brain? So that because our mental emotional state, alchemy is not therapy. It's not counseling. It's that we ruminate and we're stuck in fight, flight, freeze, which has us ruminating on a mental emotional level, but have a higher level of consciousness that's still and heart-centered. And that's a biophysiological event to be able to get back there. That's what ascension is, bringing that energy back up so that we are able to perceive reality outside of the context of the history that our thoughts have created and our emotional triggers that have established themselves in our central nervous system. And even deeper in the body, what's called in the myofascia, deep muscle tissue where we hold these things. That's the work that Cheryl does. She is a restorative yoga instructor, and she does the deep tissue work in terms of releasing what is the energy, what is the physiological experience of that emotional note that keeps having these reoccurring experiences in your life, the same type of relationship over and over with different people, but the same dynamics.
Right.
the same financial things, health things that cannot be resolved. That that's how that fight, fright, or freeze expresses itself, and how we experience reality. And again, this is to correct that is a biophysiological event. It's an energetic event, and there are many systems that approach it. And in Christianity, it's called, the Holy Spirit. You know, in yogic tradition, it's called kicking off the Kundalini, so those centers of consciousness open up, so that we're not. Most people are functioning in their lower chakras, and not. And actually, I take that back, because I also see a lot of people who have a higher level of awareness. They're very creative. The system works together. What it is, it's not that they're just functioning at this level. It's that level is where their life events have not been balanced out and resolved. So it's affecting their perception levels is more accurate. And these things are, these things are achievable, to be able to transcend that. We've all had, if you go into what is called flow state, where the brain changes, the brain wave activity changes. When you're in the zone, you're not experiencing fear. You're not experiencing, it could be when you're driving, it could be when you do housework, whatever that activity is, that triggers, that shifts you, which is one of the beautiful things of alchemical systems, because it teaches us, it gives us methods to shift, to transcend. We don't have to worry about addressing the past, because the past is going to reoccur in the present. But if you transcend the state of consciousness, or the level of awareness that life event created, you're going to approach it differently. It's not going to hold up your life anymore, because your approach to it is going to be very different, because you're able to see it from a higher perspective.
Right. So people normally, they try to change the person or control the person or change the situation, as opposed to changing themselves and how they actually handle the situation.
Very well put. Very well put. See, this is but we're not taught to do that. We're not socialized as a society.
Right.
In fact, we're discouraged.
Yeah.
From that, things, activity that help us to connect and make the connection between what's going on within us and how we're interacting, relating to the world. That's a skill. We're not going to just know that, and it's not the common view of our society. Rising Sun, you need to check. It's a little after 7. Can you check the waiting room to see if Queen is there?
Nope, nobody there.
Okie doke. Thank you.
You want an intermission so you can call up and I'll play that song that you like from
I think that's a good idea.
Color Purple.
Yes, maybe God's trying to tell you something. That is one of my
So someone from the chat has a question.
Yes.
So if it's blocked by trauma, then you repeat the same pattern.
Yes.
Yes, you will.
Yes.
And often it may not be. So can we use the example of someone they're having a relationship with a significant other, and they figure, oh, I broke up with this person, and then they end up dating the same type of person again?
You know what is the most extraordinary example of that is people who have abuse in their history, where people who have experienced domestic violence, not only do they repeat that cycle, but they can affirm that they will never have that type of relationship again, and they'll have a relationship with someone that masks that behavior. And they're like, how did I end up here again? And then after they're intertwined in the relationship, then they find themselves in once again in the abuse cycle. You know, what I'm talking about, we need referrals. Some people where they're stuck, people need different things. You know, some people need body work. Some people do need analysis. Some people need hypnotherapy. Some people need acupressure and acupuncture. People, you know, we are moving towards more having more dialogue with systems. I work with people that are pretty much okay, that are able to do alchemical practice. That I can say, this is where you are in space time. This is what you should do. And they could experience change. When people need deeper work, people that have a life event that they cannot get back. And I kind of avoid the word trauma. For one thing, I'm not a psychotherapist, so it's not really appropriate for me to use it. But I like life event because it really points to, this is an event in your nervous system that's doing this.
Yes.
This is not who you are. Something happened and the breath stopped because you were frightened or you were afraid or you didn't know what to do or you couldn't process it. And no one, you know, even to small children, we don't tell them, breathe. Colored people, when I was growing up, we used to tell children, go in the bathroom, cry, sleep on it. We used to instruct people in such a way that they could get back into homeostasis. What we have a tendency to do now is tell children it's okay. It's all right. It's okay. So we don't learn the skill as children that something bad can happen, but I can get back to the place where I'm safe.
Right.
And I'm okay. You know, I'm given cookies and milk or something else to cope with a circumstance or a toy. So we learn to depend on the external for our well-being. So we enter relationship from that place. What can other people do to change? Judgment, you know, and judgment from a perspective of alchemy, the Chinese alchemy, is toxicity in the liver, the wood element. And the wood is the child of the heart, you know, and so wood feeds fire, you know, that's Chinese alchemy. And so if we're in a judgmental state, the heart is weak. The heart is weak. And these are, you know, some of the things that would be helpful is gatherings on a mass level, partying until, you know, cultures. I grew up in a world where people on the weekend partied. You know, we detoxified from the work week. We weren't working 24/7. When you got off from work, you were off.
You know, that COVID thing that you know, that I don't want to say it, I said it already, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Someone was telling me they noticed how, you know, the first thing with that thing came out, how the people in the family began to separate. That was the first thing. The second thing that was very significant was the so-called conscious community refusing to celebrate all these these pagan holidays, and so now they're not coming together for anything. And she was saying that we're losing our sense of connection because we're no longer even socializing with each other, attending events for fear of this, or I'm so conscious that. And she was like, we could just get together and just hang out.
Well, the thing is that it's important that we remember that this was imposed upon us so that a society that was monetizing itself created an education system to socialize people to disconnect. People didn't decide to do this. Didn't decide to do this. These were requirements for people to be able to make a living and live. You know, and it's moving forward in a society that regulates us in terms of how we need to live so that we yield profit. So, you know, we're profit yielding entities. And part of the unhealthy thing that it has done is that we look at each other rather than the larger systemic reality that we're existing in. We live in a predatory society because that relationship starts with we live under the rule of governments that we don't feel we have a say in. You know, we're our children are educated within a system that is very traumatic for you know, for many children. You know, and the separation is happening earlier and earlier. And you don't grow up in school. You grow up in the subculture that children create in school, which is very different, which is not taken into consideration. Remember the playground and the dynamics in the playground?
Yes.
And what, you know, that's what's shaping you. That can be, you know, that can be terrorizing. Rising Sun, play that so that I can
Go.
get a respite from my own voice. I love this song. Let me see.
This is go ahead, make your phone call, Diana.
I will. Let me get.
Now this came out in 1985. Some of y'all in the audience hadn't yet been incarnated. So this is a classic here. You like this, Bliss?
Yes.
Lawrence Fishburne, he was in there too. Hit the whole jazz group. I think this is Kundalini music, Bliss. If you listen to it, that's an activator. Kundalini. And that's how, like you say, speaks to the soul. Yep. Oh, that's a sight to see. Can y'all relate to that? What you like about that song, Bliss? I bring the church girl out of you, huh?
Yeah.
Here it goes. And you know something? A lot of conscious folks, the craziness in the so-called conscious circle put folks right back to church. Did you know that? Here we go. Y'all hang out here long enough and tell me how many folks you knew that went back to church after trying to be in the conscious circles while I play this song. How many folks you know went back to church? All right. Okay, Diane, I'm gonna stop sharing unless y'all want to hear some more.
Yeah, is Diana?
Diane, you want to hear some more?
Well,
Yeah, you want to hear more. Hold on, let me play a little more for her.
Oh yes.
Well, I'm sure people would love to go. You'd be drawn back to church just for the music.
Hold on, what you say?
I said, I'm sure that some people are drawn back to church just for the music.
Shoot. They have a musical church here in Brooklyn, Brooklyn Tabernacle. And the audience, most of them black and Puerto Rican, people of color. And they get woo woo wooed on the music. And I remember an elder saying, wait a minute. He asked the pastor, I ain't gonna say the pastor's name because I ain't getting sued up here. But it was on Flatbush Avenue, and it was now on downtown Brooklyn. Can I see your books?
I know the church you're talking.
I think everybody knows that place is at.
Okay, all right. I ain't say the name now. I'll say the name.
No.
And this elder said, "What are you doing with all the money that's being collected?" You know what their response to him was? They gave him the boot after decades of being in the church. So going back to the song.
Well, come on now. We already know how some of those places get down.
Oh.
We already know. But, we have to look at, when we are, as a collective, investing our time, our energy, and most importantly, our finances. And there's nothing coming back to us as a people. Like that amount of money being poured into one organization or one person means that you could be provided with housing under an emergency situation. You could be provided with food under an emergency. Like we have to start using our intellect and observing the situations that we're putting ourselves in. And it feels good to be around them and these songs and all the love and all the great conversations and the prayers. But the bottom line is when your butt is in a situation and you're in trouble, the question is, can you call on this organization or this person to assist you and your family?
Let me tell you.
And if not,
they will get all the black and Puerto Ricans high as a kite and collect their money multiple times and unaccountable.
Where's the connection?
Yes.
You got bamboozled.
What kind of relationship is that? Where's the connection? What type of relationship are you having with your, leader or, I don't want to say, preacher or anything, because we all have groups that we participate in that we're investing our energy, time, and finances and money. So what's really with that relationship?
And with the times that we're in, it's quiet as kept. Family, you're going to start hearing about more and more people working for the financial institutions, banks, and otherwise getting the boot, but they're doing it on the low, and they don't want it in the news window. So listen up. And you better tune in. And that's all I'm going to share about that, so I don't get in no trouble.
Let me tell you, all the signs are there.
Rising Sun, can you share? I'd like to, as always, people. The basic practice is a system of 7 movements that can help people align. And anyone that emails me and puts basic practice in the subject line of the email, I will send that to them. Group takes place on a monthly basis, the first Sunday of the month.
Hold on, Diane. What's your email again?
D is in David, P is in Peter, H is in Harry, AR8 at AOL,
AR
8, the
8.
number 8 at AOL.com. I've said all on topic that I planned on saying this evening, but I'll say a little about group. And I also want to say, before I do that, something on how alchemy describes as love as compared to what we think of as love as contemporary society. That when you are in the zone, when you are in flow state, when you are in the place where you transcend yourself, that you are so deeply immersed in life, when you're in flow state, and the separation, the boundaries between you and the environment dissolve. That is what alchemy is talking about when it says in love. Emotion and feeling is something else. Not that they are not meaningful parts of our being, but the love state. And when we do whatever takes you there, it could be a very simple activity. It can be cleaning house, mulling around takes me there. Also writing and research, but for some people it's driving. I want to underline that it doesn't take 40 years of meditation and the practice of sacred secretion to reach the transcendental.
Yeah.
That it's very accessible to us. And when you are immersed in life, people should identify what they do in their life that they transcend their own thoughts and emotions, and they can connect. Because from that place, you enter into love. You enter and connect. Your boundaries between yourself and others are no longer, you don't experience the other as being outside of you. This is clean.
Okay, while you taking care of that, Bliss, you had some pictures
Diana.
that was banging. I want to put them up. We was talking
Okay.
about Bliss. Hold on, let me see.
Rising Sun Queen is trying to log in right now.
She got to use the guest link. The one I sent you, Diana, she needs to set the StreamYard link.
She's not inside of the queue.
No.
So
Okay.
maybe she's using something else.
Yeah, don't use YouTube. Tell her use a StreamYard link.
She shouldn't. Thank you. Well, first, thank you for the call. She shouldn't need a password. Is she clicking on the box that I sent?
No, there's no password.
There's no password.
Up under login with Facebook, it should be another way of logging in. It should be another option. I was given that option also, but there's another option where you can go directly into the studio. It should be there also.
Oh.
This is Queen's assistant. She said she's not seeing it either.
Well, how did you get on, Diana?
I'm sorry, what?
Oh, well, let me pull up them pictures, because while she's doing that, that was some good pictures that you sent me, Bliss. And I'm going
Rising Sun, what do you recommend? Oh.
Stream is follow the StreamYard link. Pull out and go in fresh. Do it again.
Yeah. Pull out and go in fresh. It should say studio. It should say enter studio when she's getting ready to come in.
Jalila, they're recommending that she come out completely and re-enter.
Right. By pressing the StreamYard link.
I think she's
these are some this was some good stuff Bliss was sharing earlier. But
I sent the B video to you too. I was, because when you went to go get your tea, we were talking about the breath exercise and the training that I'm doing. and how when I changed my breath, the bees were coming to me. Oh, I told you about those bees that were flying up my legs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, and how you can just fix your breath to change the energy in the room, change the environment, actually potentially change the conversation. But that's part of the connection because we're all one.
Yes.
And what happens to a lot of people I notice is they get stuck in the loop. They get entrained in, they get entrained.
Well, our wiring, our neural wiring is very compelling.
What does
You
that
know,
mean?
it means that how we behave continually becomes part of who we are on a physiological level in the brain.
Yeah.
And even though we may want to behave differently, that's why practices that help us to rewire. That's what the group does. The alchemy group and basic practice is a way to rewire, because it's not easy to change your behavior that you have been doing over and over again. It becomes autonomic. It becomes inherently a part of your nervous system. It comes intertwined in your body. You can do it in your sleep. So so this to change the behavior that our life events has created that's stuck in our energy is a biophysiological, it's a chemical change that
Diana, you might have to talk her assistant through it. I'm going to throw up a video shortly, but I'm going to talk about the xenon. Maybe you can make a phone call. I'll just put you on mute because whoever's helping her seems like they need coaching. All right, family. Here's some things I want to share with you. And some of this was really artistic that Bliss shared. So here it is. Let me pull it up. And Bliss, tell us what we're looking at. What's been going on that you created these beautiful photos? What's
Which
your
one are you
inspiration?
sharing? Oh, so this is something that we have also been studying and training in another training where a lot of people are being triggered, and they're being triggered by what they're seeing, what's going on around them in their lives and work, at home, on the news, and they're not realizing what's happening to their body. So they're reacting, they're becoming nervous, they're becoming fearful, they're frightened, and their vibration is changing. And I realized that when I started working with the bees, how you can just get into a vibration and change the energy, and you can become calmer and more relaxed. And it's actually like you soaring, like the fear, you're like above the fear is not there. You really don't experience it, and it's like your presence alone, when you get into that state of vibration, your presence alone would be sort of like a healing when you're around other people, because your vibration and your presence is just bringing a whole different energy into a location, where someone else, maybe in the hospital, and you being there could
That
change the
reminds
way
me
they
of
think.
what
Yeah.
Diana, I think she mentions that's
You,
called
you,
Shakti.
oh, Diana's on mute.
Shakti.
exactly your pictures and the quotes are very resonant with everything that was shared. So you did that the last time I was here. I think I recommended. That was so funny. I recommended
Oh, the book.
Mantak Chia's books, and Bliss said, "Yes, I just so happen to have that book right here." And so I said, "You just so happen to have it right here." That was so
Yeah,
funny.
I
And
was
that
studying.
but it's
I want to share something, Diana.
yes.
This is the latest, family, outside of our country. A type of therapy called xenon gas therapy. Um, they have xenon clinics that you can look up information about called xenonclinic.com. That's one of the websites. And what I did, I took the time to create a xenon pyramid, but I want you to look at what noble gas of xenon has been documented to assist with. As it says here, xenon is a noble gas that can do miracles for you. You will feel young and healthy. boost your immune system, speed up your recovery, improve general health. Xenon therapy provides you with a sense of vitality, physical strength. Moreover, stimulates your metabolism. You will be successful at anything you do. Xenon increases your energy level to attain your goals at work and at sports. Xenon therapy stimulates brain activity and detoxes your body at the molecular level. It helps you stay longer, mentally focused, and feel physically regenerated and extremely vital. Now, this is what I've been noticing myself. Here's another one. This is simple. Stimulates brain activity, increased concentration, reduce fatigue, headaches, sleep disorders, reduces negative emotions such as fear, irritability, anxiety, and depression. Because folks in the hood are full of fear, how you say that, Bliss?
Irritability.
Yeah, anxiety, depression, treats post-traumatic stress. They say that's understudied. Treats drug and alcohol addictions. And it says, look what it does. Xenon induces supramolecular detox, boosts immune system, enhance health, accelerates injury and surgery. So what I did, family, I put it inside the pyramids, and it works. So I just wanted to share that while we are having our infomercial. And going into the season, I want you to get into that Kinkaliba tea. You also, I have it available. Bliss has it available. Bliss, how can they get in touch with you for the Kinkaliba tea? Because I saw your video. It was nice.
Info at Journey to Bliss.
Let me put
.com. So you can email me at info@journeytobliss.com. And I also, and that's my YouTube channel. And I also have a Bliss Love Tea, which is more a tea that assists you with nurturing, loving, caring yourself and having more empathy for other people.
Yeah. Because I think that was LaShonda hitting me up. Hold on a second. Oh, thank you, LaShonda. Special shout out South Florida, LaShonda. Take one and know one, LaShonda. And family.
So is Queen in the chat?
I think she's working on it. Hold on.
Exhausted everything that they could possibly do.
Send them the link again.
And they are unable to navigate the technology. So I said we will reschedule and bring her on at another time. But I will make the announcement that Queen has a tool, Breath of Life, that people can go to queenafua.com.
Acknowledgement to Leo, Queen Afua.
And yes, she is indeed a Leo.
Yeah, she's a Leo. Yep.
I'm going to encourage people again to, as always, to contact me for the basic practice information. That will also put you on my mailing list, and you'll receive information about Alchemy Group. We will be doing astrologically specific sessions that are correlated to the sign to do what is ascension work. Not sacred geometry, but to move the energy up and identify, what is happening in your energy that correlates to your life circumstances, and make referrals if referrals is appropriate. I mean, it's shout out to Queen Afua.
Yeah. Oh, you know what, Diana? Oh, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
You look really well, Rising Sun.
You know what? I got these Xenons strapped all around my neck. I got to come by and hook you up. And I did promise, I don't know if Queen is listening, I did promise one of your girls, Diana and Queen Afua, the Xenon Golden Pyramid. So, listen.
I don't know what's going on with the two of you this evening, but whatever it is, bottle it and send me some.
Oh, we got alchemy. Oh, we got alchemy. Folks swear we married. They swear we married.
You and Miss Bliss. You're the Mr.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Miss Bliss.
You know, and I was just telling Bliss
We
earlier.
have,
I'm gonna give it
we
PG
have just
version,
got
Bliss.
all made back up in here. It's just like we on the porch.
Yeah, we're on the porch right now, and I got the tea in the kitchen. We'll have some tea shortly. I had people calling up, yo, bro, what's going on with you and Bliss? I'm like, what you talking about, man? I just want to know. I just want to know. Ring, ring, ring. Hey, what's happening, man? How you doing? By the way, yo, so hey, they always say, hey, brother. First, it got started with brother. Hey, brother. So, yeah. And then ring, ring, ring. Hey, peace and blessings, sister. Grand rising, Papa Hank. How you doing? I want to ask you something. Yo, it just keeps going.
You know what it is, though? You know what I think, and Diana could probably confirm this. People are not used to seeing a man and a woman with a good connection, with a great connection. Their mentality is so dysfunctional from all of the years of dysfunction that they automatically have to judge and assume that there's something beyond than what they could see, as opposed to just genuinely saying, you know what, this is a really good relationship. So in this world, in this society, it's impossible for people to have a great relationship unless there's something else involved. And I don't let me get started about P. Diddy and what he did, and then Jamie Foxx and all these things that's going on. But y'all need to figure out how to breathe properly so that you can have great relationships with your family, with your friends, with your significant others. You need to start doing the work, because if you don't get it now, you ain't gonna get it come next year.
Ooh, Bliss, you done started something. And Diana, this is for you too, because I think we've been bamboozled by the Abrahamic religions and those Abrahamic gods that shorten human lifespan down to 60 to 80 years. So we got to start talking about cell regeneration and being outlawed to the cellular timelines that have been established by Abrahamic religions for you to be dead between 60 and 80. That's Abrahamic religions and those ET gods. All right, Diana, you know what I'm talking about. So we're going to talk about a remedy right now. Family, what if you, and this is an experiment, I'm giving y'all homework, and this is going to be the best homework in your life.
He gonna be checking y'all homework too.
Yo, in your oils, special acknowledgement to Bernardo LaPaulo, who was in my living room at 115 years of age. He said, virgin olive oil prevents wrinkles. What if you put a xenon bulb inside your lotion, your skin lotion, or your beauty product lotion? Okay? All right? First one. What would happen if you take your Kinkaliba tea after it cools off and put a xenon bulb on the side or the inside of your Kinkaliba tea? It's the greatest revolution we haven't been talking about, family. Diana, Bliss, and all those who are listening now and in the future, is becoming a rebel to the curse of time that was set by the Abrahamic religions. Now, if we're going to have solar activation, let us do time-bending revolution. And I'm going to tell you, family, this may be a spark to activate the flame that activates the regeneration in the name of your divinity. And if it leave it to me, Uncle Hanky's going to make Diana look like she's in her 20s again. And then when she gets there, I'm buying a Harley and I'm taking her to the beach or to the cosmos. Leave it to me. I'm going to pass xenon bulbs to all the beautiful elder sisters so they can be popping again. Sisters, take these xenon bulbs, put it in your lotion, and massage your chest, so you start defying gravity once again. once again, y'all, I ain't got to go into anatomical details. My brothers start putting xenon under your pillow. Listen, it's time for us to break out. Question everything is what
Yes.
Dick Gregory said.
Yes.
Because the time, we've been bamboozled on this time thing. How come Adam, who was a chump to Eve, lived to be almost 1,000? How come Noah lives almost to 1,000? And here we supposed to be the latest thing and the most evolved, and we can't get past 60.
Shoot, nowadays I think I heard it's like 50.
And special acknowledgement to Billy Carson. Diana, you know what Billy Carson said? And I thought of you when I heard it. He said there's a dormant blueprint in every cell that once you can activate it, it flips back the body back to the 20s. What'd you do, Diana? You all right?
I'm fine, but I am starting to slide.
Oh, that was because of the motorcycle? That was funny. That was funny. That was funny. Y'all let me know if that was a good one. That was a good comeback. But anyway, listen, family, back to Xenon. I want y'all to start a Xenon revolution, okay?
Mhm.
In your personal life. Put the bulb, because the gas in the bottle costs thousands of dollars, but you can get a Xenon bulb. And don't y'all start asking me no silly questions like, how much voltage do I need? You don't need any voltage, family, if you're dealing with a bulb, but put it in your lotion and do an experiment on your own body, okay? And you could talk to the gas to do its work and do its bidding. And that's what I've been doing, Bliss. And listen, hug more, be happy, go to sleep with comedy, because I'm sure listening to Flintstone and Barney and them before she goes and curls over and goes to sleep. And don't take stuff too serious. Be responsible, but don't be too serious, because happiness keeps you in the alpha state. Seriousness burns you down like ashes in the beta mindset.
And laughter strengthens the immune system.
Mm.
I think it's time to call the benediction.
Benediction. Oh, you want some music? Let me see if I can pull up some music for you. I'll finish the rest of the. Oh, you know what? Because you came up with that idea, we're going to do that. We're going to close out with the rest of that music.
I think that's a good choice.
Yeah. Diana, thank you for such a
thank you
beautiful.
so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you for a beautiful night.
Bliss, thank you for your questions. They're always right on time. Right on time. That was so funny. And your picture is so correlated to perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, ready?
Everything is connected. Rising sun.
Forgiveness, family. That's a picture of forgiveness.
Yes.
Broken hearts, wounded souls got to learn to forgive. Forgiveness, family, going into 2024. Who do you need to forgive? Give up that judgment of your broken heart and wounded soul. Forgiveness. Look at her face. She's dealing with the redemption of forgiveness. And that's the message. We got to learn to forgive. Night, night, Diana.
Good night.
Thank you, Cynthia. She said this was great.
You were definitely glowing.
I'm waiting on that tea. Glory be. All right. Catch y'all next show. Oh, tomorrow, family. Tomorrow is.
Yes, I will be listening tomorrow for Wayne Chandler.
Wayne Chandler. Yes, tomorrow, Friday.
Thanks for reminding me, because I couldn't get the words out.
Same time, same station.
Oh no, tomorrow's 8:00 for Wayne.
Tomorrow's 8 p.m. Same station.
Kofonia will be on.
Wayne Chandler.
Blitz will be on. Wayne Chandler. So see y'all tomorrow at 8. Y'all get
And
some
have
good
your
tea.
tea tomorrow.
Yeah, have some tea. All right. So let me get ready to close this out with some good. Oh, let me find the closeout. The closeout. The closeout. Thank you, Baraka. Baraka checks it out afterwards. Because he's multitasking. Shout out to my brother Sag
Shout out to
and
the
Sag
brother
season. Happy birthday to all the
everyone.
Sagittarians.
Good
So we're
night.
just gonna close. I can't
Good
find it.
night.
Night night.